Hey guys, welcome to a client edition of Chewing the Fat. Today I'm with a very special client of mine, Father Andrew. What's your last name? McCarter.
McCarter.
Yes, thanks for joining me. I nearly called you Dr. Antonio Civitarese because I know you're very good friends with him and going to school with him, and he's one of our scientific and metabolic health advisors. Um, Fill us in, Father Andrew, because my family's going to be very happy that I'm working with you on restoring your health, because they're, as we've discussed, very Catholic, and we have a cousin that's a priest also. And you came to us. How long have you been with us now?
30th of September, I began the protocol.
Yeah, right. And just for those that don't know, what brought you to us? Where were you at? What had you jump on board with Simpler Health at the time?
Okay, well, the short story, the long story is that a few years ago, when I say a few years ago, I think it might have been 2018, I
Hmm.
was talking to Dr. Anthony and Antonio, who I went to primary school with,
Yes.
and he suggested as a way to lose weight and to, well, primarily to get healthy. And all that is a byproduct or a product of getting healthy. So I was at a stage of where I was seeing the diabetes specialist uh, at the Baker Institute in here in Melbourne. And things were going downhill. I wasn't managing my diabetes well. I didn't know what kind of to do. I mean, they were saying, take this. I had to keep taking more medication, more medication, more medication. I did do a trial of a drug similar to Ozempic, but it's not out in the market yet.
Right.
And it worked, but I've never felt so sick in all my life and nauseous and taking other medication then to then counteract those symptoms like Somac because the acid would then build up in the stomach. So I stopped that. After I'd stopped that, I then tried Ozempic to manage to lose weight and to bring the sugars down.
Mhm.
And yeah, that was no good either. In fact, I felt even worse. I get these great big hiccups that would be like a punch in the stomach each time that it would happen. So
Yeah.
I went off that, and it got to a point of where I went away on holidays. And I know I contacted you, Trevor, before going away on holidays. He said,
Mm.
"Oh yeah, he's going for his last hurrah." Uh, and it was the last hurrah. So then when within a month of coming back, I was in contact with Trevor again and yeah, signed up and began the protocol. But I was on at that time, no Ozempic,
Mm.
and I was on 3 diabetes medications.
Yeah. And
And
what was your
getting,
weight at the time?
well, uphill, getting worse, or downhill, spiraling down health wise.
Yeah, yeah. And what was your weight at the time when you came to us?
It was 131.
Yeah.
Such a
Where
huge number.
where we at now?
Triple figures. Where I'm at now, I'm at 97 something or other. So yeah, I lost 34 kilos. So
You're looking
really,
amazing too, by the way. It's a night and day difference between the starting photos you sent through and where you're at now. Um,
uh, absolutely. Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
very quick in the time that you started reducing the medication you were on too, wasn't it?
Well, within 5 days, I'd already stopped 2 medications, which I kind of knew that I didn't need. But there was one evening, I started on the Monday. Monday's always a good day to start
Yeah.
a new protocol or start a new diet, fad. But anyway, it started on the Monday, and by Friday night, my sugar was, because I was wearing a continuous glucose monitor, was 3.5, 3.4, and it was going downwards.
Mm.
So I had to get on to Trevor straight away. So Trevor, I'm going to end up, and it's the first time in my life that I'd actually panicked about my sugar because I knew that it was heading down, and it was already at 3 point something. I live on my own,
Yeah.
and I thought, well, maybe I'm not going to wake up tomorrow morning.
Wow.
So Yeah, so that's why I got on the blower and had some. Thank goodness I had a, because you also can't drive when it's that low as well. So I was kind of
Mm,
stuck at home. Luckily, I had some punnet and blueberries in the fridge, and that worked a treat.
I
So
remember that, yes.
without spiking the sugar too high for the next
Yes,
morning.
just to bring it back into normality. But that's incredible. I mean, it really doesn't take long for your body to start sorting itself out and correcting the underlying issue once you give it the chance to do it.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredible. And I think what's been great with working with you is that it's just from the get-go, and maybe it may be just the way you are in general with things. It may be because of Antonio and his relationship with us as well, and he's an expert in metabolic health. He's got MBAs and honors and all sorts of stuff, and
Doctorates.
some of the top medical companies in developing some of those drugs as well, I think. Um, and so you're pretty much sold if someone like that's gonna say to do this protocol. Um, you can pretty much bank on, given the relationship you guys have got, that it's worth doing. But what's been fantastic is you just took it on like, okay, I'm doing it. There's no ifs or buts. There's no what can I get away with. There's no how much can I stay doing the things I like to do, but still get the results. And then what opened up on the back of that is just immediate impacts on, like you say, your medication. And then also just in how you're feeling and how you're operating each day and how you perform each day, which then further encourages and motivates you to stay on track and get more involved in what's happening, how it's happening, why it's happening, all that type of thing. It's been
Yeah.
really great.
I, I mean, I have really stuck to the protocol, almost, too fastidious.
Yes.
People say, "Oh no, Ben, Andrew, Ben, just have this cake, or just have this lolly, or just have this drink, or whatever." That's okay for them. However, it's going to then upset my whole metabolic health if I do, and then it's going to take me another 3 weeks to get back onto the track of where I am now. So
And trust me, it's way
why
harder,
would one do it?
way harder.
Let's hope and pray that that never happens.
Once you break
Yeah.
and you lose that trust in yourself and you sort of give in like people normally do, the people that talk like that are the ones that are doing it consistently. They want to look after their health, they want to restore health, they want to lose weight, but they allow themselves to be, oh, just one lolly, oh, just one bit of chocolate, and then by the end of the week they've had
One's not
five
going to
chocolate.
hurt. Come on, just
Exactly
one.
right. Exactly right.
Well,
But
I mean, it wasn't easy from the point of view of, for I would say the first 2.5 months, I would dream about eating cake, eating sweets, eating chocolates, eating lollies. So I was actually having them, but it wasn't in the real world. It was in
I remember
the
that call. Feels like I'm having the cake and having my cake and eating it too, because I dream about it, so then I don't need it when I wake up.
correct. And but I would still feel guilty having eaten it overnight, which wasn't true. But I think that the best part of it all is that by 11 weeks into the protocol, I was off all my medication.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
Yeah, and the sugar's still dropping.
Mhm.
And I mean, this morning it was 5.1. So, and it's been consistent like that for this whole week.
Yeah, incredible.
Mhm.
Incredible. So, the thing to be mindful of is that's how I did the protocol. I'm not saying this is going to be the same for you, but I just generally see this in different groups of people. So some people will struggle all the way through and finally get to the end and be one way in the sustainability side of the protocol. Other people will sort of do it mostly how it's designed and with the odd thing now and again. So in the back of their mind, when they get to phase 4, they just still can't quite trust themselves and they can sabotage their results getting there because they're either consciously or subconsciously scared to be on their own now because they know they can't rely on themselves fully yet to get there. Or you do it like you've done it and how I did it, just religiously follow it, pardon the pun,
No
and
pun intended.
get to the end of the thing without faltering at all, and then struggle in the final part because the foot comes off the pedal, the context shifts to now I can eat whatever I like. And there's a real relief, I suppose, in as much as we do it spot on the money with integrity the whole way through on the blinkers, so to speak, of this is how I do the protocol and I don't want to mess with it and I want to get it done 100% and get all the benefits I want from how it's done correctly, etc. When that comes off, it's almost like a relief valve that goes off. And right there waiting for you is all the past ways of being and acting. So,
Yes.
we'll see if that works out the same for you or not. Just something to be mindful of and maybe predict that it's perfect because that's what we want to deal with. That's what I had to deal with, and it's what set me up for, you know, keeping my health on track for the following 5 years, which has been fantastic. So it's not that if we falter, you've wrecked anything or you can't do it or you're not going to sustain the results. It's how you deal with those off the wagon moments and create newly from there to sustain your health long term. But you're doing
Yeah.
great so far. I mean, it's just incredible the before and after photos that I've seen so far. And you're wearing different clothes now. You got to buy different clothes and
Well,
different.
even my skinnier shirts are even getting big now. So I've had to buy new pants because when we get into the airport and they say take off your belt, where the belt was the main thing that was holding them on, it kind of gets kind of embarrassing. But just to go back on that, falling off the wagon and so forth, I actually see the protein snack, and I've had for since I've been on day 123, the smart bars, and I see them as my treat.
Yep.
I was looking on the website about all the other protein snack bars and chips and drinks and hot chocolates and pancakes and all that, which sound amazing. But I thought, well, look, my smart bars work for me. Why would I want to change?
Mm.
Why want to have something different at this stage of the game to then, I mean, I'm not interested in experimenting anymore because I don't need to because this works.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Like if you
That's
follow
what
it
I mean about
religiously and it
that's what I mean
works.
about doing it as the design. And look, it takes a lot of courage to do that because people are used to operating how they've operated for many, 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 many years. The issue is they somehow expect a different result by operating the same way. And it's human nature. We're always looking to see what we can get away with and still pull off the result we want. Um, And in terms of food, it's been beaten into us forever and a day. Advertising and social media now, and the design of food and the testing they do on it to have people want to consume more of it, how easy it is to eat, how, it elicits wanting to eat more of that in the chemicals in your brain and your microbiome for that matter. It's not anyone's fault per se, but it takes doing what you're doing, a completely different action, putting your life in the hands of someone else for a period of time, and just giving in, giving up, and doing it as it's designed, which you've done, amazingly well. It's still, I talked to Dean, and it's like, how many medications was he on? And he's off them already. Wow. It's just, it is astounding. So what? On the back of that, what difference has that made in terms of you and your life, your work with the church? I know you do bucket loads of travel, all that sort of thing. What differences has made that you can see in terms of that?
From being on the protocol or
Yeah, from being where you're at now, health wise, compared
yeah.
to where you
Oh,
were.
look, it's possible to do anywhere. Um, I mean, really, all you need. There are challenges. I would fully agree. In terms of getting the right amount of carbs, getting the right amount of weight. Some restaurants are like, no, sorry, just can't, steam 2 cups of broccoli for you. No, you just can't. I think, well, why would I want to eat there if they can't do the most basic of basics? Where some mainly Chinese Asian restaurants are very, very accommodating. They're wanting to provide, they're wanting to make the customer happy.
Mm.
And am I happy? Absolutely. When, they're able to weigh. There was one time where they brought me out a huge, great big plate of broccoli, and I said, hang on, but that's too much. I only need, this amount of grams of broccoli. That's just too much. So there are the challenges, particularly washing lettuce and so forth. You try to take your salad lettuce spinner around, but it cracks in the suitcase. So then you're left with, a broken one. So just put in the bin. But yeah, it's easy if you want it to work for you. Don't let the environment dictate to what your choices are then going to be.
That's perfect.
Uh,
It's easy if you
always
want it.
said.
It's easy if you want it to be. Have that
Yeah,
conversation a lot. It's as difficult. The conversation I more have it's as difficult as you want to make it.
yeah,
And I'm the same. There's so many times I've got to get myself out of my own way to make things easy, because in actual fact they can be if I get myself out of the way. But day to day, what impact has it had on you day to day as far as how you feel, what you can get up to, your energy levels through the day, all that type of thing?
I would say that I'm less lethargic,
Mm.
certainly less sicker than what I was. Sleep wise, um, fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm the one odd night, but that would be regular anyway. But apart from that, it's I feel that a lot colder than what I used to be due to inflammation and not eating as many carbs or not high starchy carbs as what I
Mm.
would be. So my core temperature certainly has come down. It's easier to fall asleep, but it's also easy to wake up because I feel rested,
Yes.
having been on the protocol, and we just, the day's already planned. Planning, I think, is the huge key for it all, to make sure that the lettuce is cut, washed before the start of the day, to make sure that you've always got stock in the vegetables
Mm.
line, because you don't want to have to go down. Oh no, like I'm 30 grams short of broccoli or broccolini or capsicum, so then you go down the supermarket again. Of course, supermarket, I basically walk into the veggies. If I need apple cider vinegar, I go to there. If I need oil, I go to there, and then I'm out. So quick, short, sharp shops, and the cost is less as well. I'm not buying a whole lot of crap just by walking up and down the aisles. Oh yeah, that's on special, or that's available. Oh yeah, I need that, where I actually don't need that. Um, and I find shopping now is like a breeze. Just walk in, out, get it. You know how they say, never shop when you're hungry, because that's
Exactly.
the time of where you grab the chips or the lollies or whatever. But I actually feel never hungry, hungry, hungry while on the protocol.
Mm.
There's always, I mean, the water's always available, but I just don't feel those hunger pains as such.
If you do the protocol as designed, you don't. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure we've spoken about this. I'd get to dinner time and be like, oh my God, I've got to fit in 200 grams of meat and 2 cups of vegetables. And it's 7 o'clock. All right, then. I could have very easily gone
let's
without
go.
it, very easily gone without it. And it's interesting because it just flies in the face of most people's understanding of nutrition in terms of restoring metabolic health and weight
Yeah.
and healthy weight. I have this conversation with people all the time, oh, that many calories isn't enough for a toddler. That's ridiculous. It's an unhealthy amount of weight to lose in that amount of time. I was like, well, you're just saying you've come off 3 or 4 different types of diabetic medication in 8 weeks, and you're feeling the best you've ever had. I'm not seeing where it's unhealthy yet.
Mm, mm. Well, my own GP is a skeptic. She keeps sending me off to blood tests, which I had this morning. So let's see what that
Oh, you had
result
some more this
is.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So that'll be 4 month mark.
Yes, yes, yes. You got to get her to call Dean or myself and have a conversation because yeah, it's we're
Some people we just can't change.
you can't, but I mean at least they can know where we're coming from and why we do what we do and how. Because
Yeah.
often GPs especially don't have an understanding of that side of things.
Yes.
I've had people request the blood work, and the doctor will actually call and say, "Why do you need fasting insulin? Don't need that. The glucose is fine." Well, the glucose can be if it's getting hammered with insulin all the time. If insulin's high, it can cause at that stage, at certain stages, the glucose to show as being okay. They don't
Yes.
understand these things. It's not their fault. I'm not saying they're purposely out to hurt people. They just don't get trained in nutrition as such. So
Yeah.
even if they just whether they agree with it or not, or support it or not, at least they can have an understanding for themselves as far as the biochemistry goes and what we're doing and how it's actually nutritionally complete, healthy, and works. So that way they can have
Yes.
regardless of what they think themselves or whether they would do it themselves, if they've got patients like yourself, they can just go, look, I'm not necessarily on board with this, but I've had patients get great results. Go call these people. Because, yeah, if you know Dean and or myself well enough, we're just out to help as many people as we can because it's a massive problem in society. Everyone gets hooked up on these little micro topics that sort of stand out because people yell the most about them, like microplastics and toxins in the food and artificial sweeteners. They're the least of anyone's problems. 70% of people need to get their metabolic health in check before they worry about any of that type of stuff. They're the
Yes.
1%.
Yes. And I mean, look, the medical world, the practitioners, and of course the customer or the patient, they're happy with the quick fix.
Yeah,
And as I was, and for some people that works, that's okay. However, it can be redesigned, remodeled, reworked,
yeah.
rethought.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, don't, I mean, if that sounded like I was bashing GPs, not my
No, no,
intention
no.
at all. Because they start off with the same commitment we have to help people be well. Now,
Yeah,
when you see 100 people a day and 90% of them say, yeah, yeah, no, don't worry about that. Just what can you give me to stop it? After a while, they're human beings. They get resigned and cynical too, and they're just like, yeah, whatever. There you go. Take that.
there you
Here,
go. There's another e-script now.
here's Ozempic, here's metformin, here's this, here's that. Just just do something so that you stay alive. Because a lot of people just aren't willing to. There was an interesting study, which I think was Dean and I have spoken about this on other Chewing the Fats, where they surveyed X amount of doctors and X amount of patients. And I think it was, don't quote me on this, I've got a memory like a sieve, but something like 70% of the doctors reported saying to their patients that they need to do something about their weight. Only 10%, I think, the patients actually recalled being told that. And only a small percentage of that 10% actually did anything about it. So you can see what the doctors are up against as well. You know, that, and like I said, they just don't get the training in nutrition and biochemistry of the nutrition that I have had, Dean's got, Dr. Antonio's got, etc.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
So it's good if they can have the access to be able to say to people, look, this is what you need to do. Go see these people to do it. Here's the results of another patient of mine that did it and got off all medication in 8 weeks and is now feeling fantastic.
yeah.
So just keep plugging away at her if it's a her.
That's it. Yeah, I'm certainly not giving up now.
Yeah. Just Yeah, just I'll if you haven't got a card, I'll send you down a card and you can leave it with her and she can give me a call and just for her own peace of mind.
Sure. I know that her husband is very, as most parishioners are, saying, "Father, you've lost a lot of weight. Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." I said, "I'm very healthy. Um,
It's an
the
interesting thing,
best
right? People
the
always
best that they've ever seen me."
people always get concerned when you look too healthy and start to inquire if there's something wrong, but they'll never come up to you and say, "Oh, Father, you're chalking it on. That's going to cause some health issues. You want to do something about that?" Never.
Well, I think we leave that to family.
They don't even do it either. I mean, unless Asian families are notorious for it, they'll just tell you flat out bluntly, "Wow, you're fat."
Yes, honesty is the best policy.
But they're the other way. When I lost the weight, I'd walk into my family's restaurant and they'd go, "Oh, wow, you're so skinny. Tell me how to do it. Tell me how to, can I still eat rice?" Not initially. No, don't want to do it. All right then. No, no
Yeah.
problem. All right. Well, thanks for sharing your journey so far. We might do another one when you're out the other side and we can look at that updated blood work as well. It's been fantastic
Sure.
watching you so far, Andrew, and thanks for putting your life in our hands. And we'll continue on and get you on the path to wellness for the rest of your life.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. If you hear anything in that resonates with you, or you've got any questions you want to ask about that, leave some comments in the section below, or you can message us on the Simple Health Facebook page or Instagram page, or on the website at www.simplerhealth.com.au. Thanks, guys. See you next time.